Good morning. We are continuing our morning meditation series today in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 16. And we're going to begin reading in verse 10. This is Jesus speaking, and he says, "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. If therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? And if you have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own? No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon." And the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him. And he said unto them, Ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but God knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God. In Jesus' teaching, he's talking about being a faithful servant. He makes a couple really interesting points which we would be wise to understand and apply in our own lives. The first is that he that is faithful in that which is the least is also faithful in much. The idea here is that if you are faithful doing the little things, you'll also be a faithful person who does the big things. And God, as he brings us along, trusts us with many little things to see how we will do. Will we be faithful in the small ministry that he gives us, caring for children, caring in our family, doing the things that nobody even notices, that aren't considered a big deal? When we're faithful in those things, he establishes in us a pattern of living that will allow us to become faithful in the much bigger things. Because in the little things, we require God just as much as we do in the big things. Don't think that if someone can't handle the little things, isn't faithful in them, that all of a sudden, if you give them more responsibility, they will be faithful there. Same thing, if they are unjust in the least, they'll also be unjust in much. And now he's comparing the worldly things that he gives to people and how we handle them compared to the true riches. If you haven't been faithful in the unrighteous mammon with money in your dealings here on earth, who will commit to your trust true riches? God does not value money. Money is of temporal use. God has no use for it in heaven. God owns everything. He doesn't need to buy anything. He doesn't need to sell anything. He's never concerned with finances. Money is a tool that we use, and God tests us in our faithfulness in how we deal with money. If we understand that money is just a tool and use it as God instructs for the furtherance of his kingdom and for the meeting of the needs that he gives us every day, then we can be trusted with true riches. Well, what are the true riches? Well, think about heavenly things. Think about the gospel. Think about loving another, caring for another, being a witness for Jesus Christ, being a child of God, entering into the eternal kingdom. They're true riches compared to money. But money is a tool and money is a test for us. And he says, if you have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own? No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. God warns us about having a divided heart. You can't serve two masters. You can't serve God and money. You can't serve God and the world. The question for mankind is not, will he serve? That's not the question. All men serve. The question is, which master will you serve? There's only one good master, and that's God, because he loves us. He loves us so much that he sacrificed his son on our behalf. That kind of master you can serve without fear. That's the kind of master who will care for his servants as he cares for his children. But money, on the other hand, is an entirely different type of master. Those who love money, who serve money, those who love the world and serve the world, are consumed by it and destroyed by it. Money can be a good tool, but it's a terrible master. Now, the Pharisees, who were covetous, the word tells us, who loved things, who loved to accumulate, heard all these things, and they thought he was speaking foolishness. They derided him. They thought he was foolish. Because if your eyes are on the world and God is talking about the eternal, the spiritual, it sounds like foolishness to that person. But Jesus spoke to them and said, Ye are justified, or ye are they which justify yourselves before men. You compare yourselves to one another, and that's the wrong rule to use. But God knoweth your hearts, for that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God. He says, you compare yourselves to one another and say that you're pretty good. But don't you understand? God knows your heart. And what is esteemed by men, what is thought good by men, is an abomination in the sight of God. The best righteousness of man is nothing before God. We have to realize that if we come to God on the basis of our works, our righteousness, we come to him with less than nothing. It's an abomination in his sight. The only currency that's of any value in heaven is the blood of Jesus Christ applied to the heart, the blood that washes away all sin. You can't serve two masters, and you will never be happy trying to please both. You have to pick who you will serve. Will it be money, the world, and the God of this world? Or will it be the one and only true God and Jesus Christ, his Son? Serving the one leads to life. Serving the world leads to certain death. It's an easy choice, and one that we need to remember every day. For the temptations of this world come every day as well. You cannot serve two masters. Have a great day, guys. Bye.